Attention all podcasts of the Solar Federation. We have assumed control. We have assumed control. We have assumed control.
The Intergalactic Boombox.
So I accidentally took my cat's meds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, don't ask meow.
The word British for British people is pronounced as British. You know why?
No.
Because they all drank the tea.
Okay. Don't fart in an Apple store.
Why?
Because they don't have windows, man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Hey, I lost my job at the bank.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this lady asked me to check her balance.
Right.
So I pushed her over.
Oh, dude.
Welcome to the Intergalactic Boombox, a podcasting spaceship piloted by myself, Kyle Hebert. A voice actor you'll soon hear on the big screen is Gohan in Dragonball Super Superhero in theaters and IMAX.
Oi.
Hey, we've been practicing, boss man.
Yeah, can we, read the release dates? Hey?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Thanks, mate. You can see Dragonball Super Superhero August 18th in Australia, New Zealand, Mexico, Brazil, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Colombia, Central America, Ecuador, Bolivia, Uruguay, Paraguay.
And of course, let's not forget August 19th in the US, Canada, UK, Ireland, South Africa, Zambia, and Vietnam.
And August 26th in India and Indonesia.
August 30th in Malaysia and Brunei.
August 31st in the Philippines.
So no Germany?
I'm not seeing them nowhere. Maybe they can make a road trip out of it, right?
Yeah, totally worth it, bro.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
September 1st in Singapore.
September 8th in Taiwan.
September 15th in South Korea.
September 29th in Thailand.
And Hong Kong and Macau.
Wait, you have a cow?
Well, no.
Because movies don't play inside cows.
No, it's a part of China.
You learn something every day.
Yeah. Okay, so the Intergalactic Boombox is brought to you in full 8K resolution using 2 cups and a string. Portions of this podcast smell like grandma. Other portions are reluctantly sponsored by Penguin Airlines. We may not get off the ground, but we sure are cute. And of course, it'd be nothing without the soft, dulcet tones of the a cappella symphony orchestra. Hey-o! Time to acknowledge our Sat Cats. Listeners to this program who send Boostagrams.
Boost.
Custom messages with custom donations made possible with Podcasting 2.0 apps from newpodcastapps.com. Totally free podcast players with next-gen features. In Viega sent 29 sats, says, more dad jokes, please. Joel W., 103 sats, Nobel Prize. That's good stuff, truly. Crypto Beard, 10 sats, says, solid, thank you. Anonymous, 95 sats, says, enjoying listening every weekend. Appreciate your listening. Malagior99 says, there you go, old chaps, 10 sats. Dude chipped in 20 sats, thanks for good entertainment. Pump says, nice. Thank you for the 10 sats.
The question of the week.
What are some habits that you have that really annoy others? Kyron from the Mere Mortals podcast boosted 4,105 sats. It says, I have this habit of being default skeptical when someone presents me with an out-of-the-box idea. It can come across unnecessarily negative a lot of the time, which annoys others and myself, to be honest. Trying to work on it to be more positively skeptical. Mythwing said, I have a tendency to under-enunciate in casual settings. Brian Weber says, I apparently crunch my food too loud. I'm not even aware I'm doing it. Gothalion says, succeeding. That is a habit that annoys others. Crimson says, I pick my nails. My mom hates it. Supa Dupa says, being smart and quiet. Menma Emiya says, saying sorry a lot. Coma is Savage says, I speak my mind. Some people definitely get annoyed by that. Lane Whitford says, I get really excited about something and I word vomit about it, or maybe learn everything about it that I can. Gets on people's nerves because it's about something like my allergies or my diagnoses. Yeah, that could get real gross real quick. Steph Varon says, I can't tell a story beginning to middle to end. I always jump around and go off on tangents. Squirrel! John Gutierrez says, I have restless leg syndrome, and sometimes I bounce my legs a lot without realizing. That's me to a T, man. I talked about it on last week's episode. Always bouncing my leg. Some people say it's a nervous habit, though I just do it even when I'm not nervous. Rage Key Torah says, when I hyper-focus, it can be a bit overwhelming at times, and can be a bit much for people. Like how I tend to be a bit obsessed with Ryu from Street Fighter and go see his amazing English VA every time he comes to a Texas con. Aw, thank you. For those who don't know, I do voice Ryu in Street Fighter 4, 5, and then 6, as well as Wreck-It Ralph and Super Smash Bros.
Can I borrow $5?
Sure you can! Checking out some other annoying habits. Drea M says, I'm double jointed, so a lot of people get grossed out when I rotate my shoulders. Unintelligible Shrieking says, pronouncing salmon with the L. Salmon. Oh. Wow, really? It goes from a great tasting fish to suddenly getting images of salmonella and food poisoning, and like that accelerated quickly. Shiba Nation says people who have their high beams on all the time. Yeah, that's problematic. Wax Witch says I'm very feather-footed and don't announce my presence, so I kind of scare people at random. Mouse Alchemist says squeaking randomly. That's okay if you're a mouse, but if you're an actual person, which I assume you are because you actually wrote words, that will get old.
Question.
General Mills is resurrecting cereals that have not been available consistently year-round for many years. Fruit Brute Monster Cereal, Frankenberry, Count Chocula, and Boo Berry. First hitting the shelves in 1971, Boo Berry is my personal fave. You know, for all these years of my adult life, it's only shown up seasonally around Halloween, at least where I'm at. Is there a cereal you had growing up that you miss and is no longer available? 3POs? Donkey Kong Crunch, Waffle-Os. Oh, those were so good. Crazy Cow. Send a Boostagram message and support this podcast at the same time. Grab a shiny free new podcast player, totally free, from newpodcastapps.com and support this show with value for value. How much is what you hear worth to you? You get to determine it in-app as the podcast plays. Or you can hit me up on the Twitters at BoomboxPod. Predator has been a series that has never reached the heights of the original. It's a high bar. Sprinkles of awesomeness to be sure throughout the whole series, but overall, kind of a disappointment. Now the franchise has gone the prequel route with Prey, and it's just the shot of adrenaline needed. Sadly, a theatrical release was bypassed despite it being planned initially as such, but the story is stripped down to the core elements that make the original so beloved. This time, it's taking place 300 years ago, with a young, headstrong Comanche warrior who hopes to hone her hunting skills and be treated as an equal in her tribe. Amber Midthunder, from Marvel's excellent Legion series on FX a few years ago, stars as Naru. She just plain rocks here as well. I can't help but chuckle since her name, Naru, sounds exactly like how Australians say the word no. No. It goes from one syllable to three for some reason. No. Anyway, Prey works as a film without any prior knowledge of the series. It's tense, it's tight, clever, rooted in exploring the Native American culture, and Dan Trachtenberg directs this one. He's another visionary director who brought us 10 Cloverfield Lane. Love that one. And he is another one of my favorite up-and-coming filmmakers, alongside Ari Aster and Robert Eggers. Plus, the Predator design in this is my favorite since the original. It may be even better. It's pretty awesome. So check it out on Hulu. Even without Arnold. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you've heard how much I gush over Neil Gaiman's Sandman. It's been decades since his greatest work, the graphic novel series The Sandman, presenting a dark, epic fantasy tale spanning history, spanning genres, and a really unique take on the human condition. Attempts have been made through the years, all unsuccessful, thankfully. Most recently with Joseph Gordon-Levitt attached to direct and star. Sounds like it would have been a great idea, right? But Neil Gaiman stuck to his guns because he just knows his beloved series would never work as a movie. Enter Netflix to the rescue. The Sandman topped their streaming charts for the first week of August, and deservedly so. I gotta say, after seeing only the first half of season 1, it just feels like a home run. Inevitable changes are present, of course, as longtime fans will note, and this is done to streamline story points or appeal to a broader audience, but it just works. The cast is incredible, led by Tom Sturridge as the Sandman himself, Morpheus, the Lord of Dreams. With amazing CG and visuals ripped straight from the original panels, you can really tell a great deal of care went into the execution of this show, especially with Neil Gaiman's close involvement. Dream is part of a family called the Endless, all representing different aspects of human existence. And I'm anxious to meet the other siblings in the second half of season 1. Really curious to hear your take on it, too. Are you a fan of the comics? Have you ever heard of the Sandman? Is this your cup of tea, or are you like, more superheroes, less emo? Did this Netflix show hook you, or are you underwhelmed? Boost me on a Podcasting 2.0 app from newpodcastapps.com, or post on Twitter at BoomboxPod. Just days after announcing that Batgirl is dead in the water, Warner Brothers CEO David Zaslav is now assuring fans of the DCEU that the company has a 10-year plan and that their job is to protect the brand. Oh boy. 3 miles west of Lake Lackawaxen, you are on the air.
Hello, rude. My personal grooming routine is none of your business.
Karen.
I need to speak to your manager.
Karen.
I'm the one in the middle, you drunken slob.
Yeah, I recognized your foul stench when you were brought on board.
Like, charming to the last, Mr. Man.
What do you want now?
So you said DC has a 10-year plan?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Are they gonna, fix our education system, feed the homeless, give me free Starbucks loyalty points for life?
What are you yakking about now?
Hello? You said DC has a 10-year plan. What is our nation's capital gonna do to make me happy?
I'm not talking about Washington, D.C. I'm talking about DC Comics. You know, Marvel's competition.
I knew that.
Yeah, right.
So what other movies will get dumped quicker than Pete Davidson? Ambush Bug? Booster Gold? Kite Man?
Wow, Karen, that's some deep cuts there.
You're welcome.
David Zaslav, the CEO for Warner Brothers, said, quote, "We are going to focus on quality. We are not going to release any film before it's ready. DC is something we can make better."
Ledoy.
No actual film or TV projects were announced beyond what we already know. You know, Black Adam, Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, Joker 2. Eventually, we'll see more of The Batman, and of course, The Flash.
Didn't Ezra Miller just get arrested, again?
Yep, again, busted for felony burglary in Vermont.
This is getting totally ridiculous.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I mean, they can't even enjoy a burger in peace.
What? I sentence you to endure 3,000 hours of on-hold music. Begone, foul demon!
And like that, she be gone.
Conspiracy here from my top-secret underground bunker in Pahrump, Nevada. So keep your pie hole corked. I didn't tell you nothing. Capiche?
He's here.
Propaganda! I told you not to disturb me when you see that on-the-air sign lit up.
Nonsense, Kenneth. There is broken light bulb that cannot possibly light up this rudimentary piece of paper.
Papa, I told you I'm on a budget. I can't order an actual on-the-air sign that can track my location. I'm relying on my survivalist skills to keep the alien agenda at bay. Now, what do you want?
For to see how my good boy is doing.
I'm doing fine, Papa. Now, could you go research Carl Schwab or maybe his brother Cotton Schwab?
There is problem. I am only finding Kebab Schwab, the great-great-grandfather of the not-so-great reset.
Papa, just do me a favor and go keep an eye out for the men in black. They'll be busting down our door any minute now. I gotta read all the news you can't use. Page 1. Well, here's something you definitely can't use. It's a watch that doesn't tell time. Instead of a watch face is the image of a pool with 3D printed magnetic ducts and bubbles you can rearrange. Ooh. Kevin Bertolero wanted a reminder on his wrist that there's still some good in the world and to reconnect with his inner child, a sensory object akin to a fidget spinner. His creation went viral on TikTok. Now, if some random bonehead could reinvent the pet rock, maybe I could peddle my pocket lint on Etsy. No 3D printer needed. Genius, I tell ya. Page 2. In case you needed a reminder that robots are going to take over mankind, a chess match in Moscow raised some eyebrows when a mechanical opponent grabbed a 7-year-old's finger and broke it when he was trying to make his move. He finished the match the next day in a cast. Now, what kind of morons bring their injured child back to the scene of a crime? I'd be rooting for the robot to go rogue on the pea-brain parrots at that point. They're about as useless as a watch that doesn't tell time. Page 3. British actress and YouTuber Annie Bella not only claims that she was abducted by a UFO, but she also fell in love with one of the aliens on board. She says extraterrestrials are better than Earthmen who lie and have double standards. The alien supposedly said interspecies dating is forbidden, but he was willing to break the rules for her. After a 20-minute visit on a strange craft, she's been waiting with a bag packed ever since for her snake-eyed, round-faced Romeo to return. So, aliens don't lie like Earthmen, huh? Someone needs to write this chickadee a reality check. He's off racing flying saucers at supersonic speeds, freaking out military radar on the cusp of an impending invasion. Then again, perhaps these beings from beyond want other kinds of conquest, if you get my drift. That's all the news you can't use. Conspiracy here from my dump in Pahrump.
Aw, look at the time.
The Intergalactic Boombox is filmed on location in your head. Guest of the podcast stay in that broom closet in that one department store full of creepy mannequins. Promotional consideration brought to you by whoever we can bribe. Remember, kids, life is like a camera. Focus on what is important. Capture the good times. Develop from the negatives. And if things don't work out, take another shot. And then post it on social media and just claim everything worked out. Till next time, Turtles.